Ghostbusters go!
Whoa!
We
Joe
landed.
is in hyperspace right now.
What day is it? What year?
What year is it exactly?
What year is it?
It's the
It was
year
2021 last time I checked.
2022. Joe from the future.
the
Please tell us
future!
what we have to look forward to since you've already lived through this year.
Yes.
Come
So
back in
as you
time.
guys
True.
listen, you guys know this about me, okay? It started with Unplugged episode 1. I have just been far away for a long time. I've traveled through both space and time.
Far and wide, yeah.
So I have seen the future. I know exactly what happens for at least the next 2,000 years. And yeah, I could tell you guys, but it'd be more fun if, we all get to find out together and I'm like that friend who like secretly
no
already saw
spoilers,
the
I
movie
see.
and then I pretend I didn't and go with you guys to the movies and go, oh, that's what happens? Oh, wow, I'm so shocked.
Whoa. Joe, Joe from the future, you didn't tell us the Matrix was going to be a big letdown. Whoa!
Well, hey, it wasn't for me. We can talk about a lot of stuff, I guess. There's so many things.
That's our
That have
topic,
happened.
Joe. This is our 1 hour topic. Is going to be talking about
Oh,
the
God.
Matrix 4.
Oh boy. Listen, I thought it was better than 3, so I do not understand
No
people out
way.
here saying this is the worst one. I'm like, this isn't the worst one. The third one has nothing to do with the Matrix. This fourth
This
one,
one has
while
nothing
it's
to do with the Matrix.
clearly not a masterpiece, is still entertaining, and it has more to do with the Matrix than the third movie. So
Okay.
that's my take. That's my hot take.
That's the
That I don't even think should be a hot take, and yet I'm in the vast minority here. I enjoyed the movie. Again, I don't
To
think it's a
me-
masterpiece.
To me, it felt like, you know how Hollywood has been doing this trend for the past 2 years of like, we're going to remake a movie from 20 years ago,
Oh, yeah.
but with a completely different writer and director, and only
Yeah.
2 of the original cast members are coming back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It kind of felt like that. It felt like this isn't the same crew, this isn't the same cast.
Definitely
but
not
it's
the
kind
same
of in the
tone
same
movie.
universe, but it doesn't feel right.
All
That's
the
what I kinda
words
felt
are
like
there,
too.
all the names are there, but yeah,
Yeah.
the style of shooting doesn't really feel the
Yeah.
same. It's like a
The
Marvel
fights,
kind
the
of
action
comedy.
didn't quite seem the same. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
understand all of its flaws, but okay, so you know what it is? My expectations were set. This is the same thing that happened to me with Batman v Superman. Everyone said it
gosh.
was terrible, and then I saw it with low expectations and was pleasantly surprised. I was like, it's not, like I'm not coming out here giving you accolades or anything, but I was entertained and I was pleasantly surprised because of how low the expectation was going in. So maybe that's the difference. I don't know, but yeah, I went into the Matrix with low expectations because everyone said they hated it, and then was like, that wasn't the worst thing ever made. Well, it's pretty entertaining. It's pretty good.
Well, you went into it not once but twice.
That's true. I watched it
that part I'm
illegally
confused about.
and then legally. That
That's
was
the
my
part I'm
method of
confused about.
approach.
So you went and saw it illegally, and then you went and saw it legally. I'm like,
Yes. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, for me.
It was,
I would have kept my $15.
Right. Yeah. I think
And
I
bought,
went on a
like,
Tuesday.
a meal or
so
something. Okay.
It was
Eight.
Tuesday.
Saying that,
Yeah.
I think I went on a Tuesday.
I would have kept my $8 and bought a Happy Meal. I would have got a Happy
Okay,
Meal and kept the toy.
Yeah. Or the poutine.
At least I'm going home with something.
Cineplex's poutine, only $8. Love it. You don't get a deal like that anywhere else. For whatever reason, Cineplex is
and the poutines
amazing
are
at
so
that.
good. Oh my god.
I know. And then everything else is way overpriced, not worth it. But it's like their poutines are just a good deal. It makes no sense. It's not like it's on sale. You go to any other place with a poutine, and poutine's like $12, $18, So it's just this weird little niche thing that Cineplex
So that's what you love. You went for the poutine. That's what you went for then.
Poutine.
Just admit it.
You went for the poutine.
You went for the
stayed for the Matrix.
Right. Yeah. There you go. Exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. But anyway, okay. So you guys did not enjoy it though.
No, there was a point. I think maybe halfway through, maybe a little bit over halfway. It was probably over halfway through, where we both kind of looked at each other and were like, "Is this gonna end yet?" Like we were just kind of feeling it, when you just feel it and you're just like,
this isn't good."
Yeah, like we just, I don't know, like maybe there's something wrong with the pacing for me because I feel like there was that little action bit at the beginning, and Bugs, not Bunny, Bugs Bunny, and she's like, "Oh, something different about this," and then she finds Morpheus, and he's different, and it's like, oh, intrigue. And then so you're like, okay, cool, that's the the beginning of the movie. It's setting up the story, and the intrigue and the plot, right? And then it goes to, you know, the one character we've all been looking forward to seeing after 20 years, the main character Neo, and it's just like it wasn't like a big reveal. It's just old
He's just
Keanu
clicking on a mouse
in an office. Yeah, and I wanted something more, maybe, of like the big reveal of where's he been this whole time, and it was just like
I wanted a lot
smash
more.
cut to him in an office, and then really quickly
hanging out
it was
with a bunch of frat bro dudes.
Yeah, and I feel like we got the Smith reveal really quick as well, and then like everything was just like, oh, here's basically all the characters. Trinity, here's Trinity as well. Everyone's there.
Yeah,
and then
I will say I feel like it would have been better if because watching the trailers, of course, I had my own imaginings of what the movie might be before it came out, and I was thinking that the whole movie would be about Neo trying to break out of this spell of the Matrix. But it happens in the first act. He's broken out, and then the second act is about him just hanging out with, you know, a post-war world where robots and humans are friends, and then he goes back in to save Trinity. But it's like, I feel like it should have been a thing where he stayed in the Matrix the whole time while being angsty and it being a serious tone, because obviously I wasn't expecting it to be a comedy. And then it being a thing where he's being talked to, but to get him out is like the most difficult thing in the world because he's in like that twin thing. It's like that would have been nice if that was like the whole movie was trying to get him out of that impossible scenario, but instead it was like they get him out and then it's hard to get Trinity out. But it's like it would have been great if it was hard to get him out too. And so that way it's like he's having conversations with people discreetly because he's being so watched by all the, you know, by everyone, the maker of the Matrix and Smith and everyone. But we didn't get that. Would have been nice. No. But yeah, I think the biggest irk I have, because I can look past all the other stuff and say mediocrity is fine if it gives us entertainment. But the one thing that I can't seem to get past is the actor for Agent Smith. He's a well enough known actor now. I just don't know his name, but he plays like King, the King of England in Hamilton. He now plays Smith in this movie. He's like a pretty boy. And I understand a program doesn't have the same physical appearance. They can change what they look like. So to you know, as far as the story goes, it's fine if he changes appearances to a younger person. They don't get Hugo Weaving again. But Hugo Weaving had an intimidating face that matched his character. And in this one, he's just like, I'm not intimidated by him. I feel like I can like just squeeze his cheeks and give him a hug. Like he looks like a little cutie. You know, looks like an Instagram
model. I also
model.
feel like he also didn't do enough to be an intimidating Smith because
because they played up the comedy for some reason.
Yeah, they played up the comedy and then they decided to kind of go down the route of Neil Patrick Harris is the real villain.
Yeah, and with Neil Patrick Harris, it makes more sense that he has a comedy element to him because he's kind of doing a satire of what Russia does, where you create false narratives to keep your citizens down, kind of a thing. They're the masters of like creating false stories and misinformation and stuff. So it's like, okay, that's good because it's still intimidating because of how fucked up that is, that's actually real and happening in our world all the time and stuff. But yeah, but then you also make Smith funny, and it's like, okay, but then there's literally no one who's like scary. There's like intimidating but funny, which is Neil Patrick Harris, and then Smith is literally not intimidating or scary or anything.
Yeah, and then in the real world, you know, now robots are on our side as well. So there was no element of danger.
There was no part where we're scared. Yeah, there's no scariness to it.
And to be honest, they could have just left Neo in the Matrix. He wasn't in any danger. Like I feel like his life would have just
it's true.
carried on the same.
Yeah. I will say I heard a few takes that have collected in my mind about what the point of the story, the overall story is with Neo and Trinity, because obviously now things have changed. Now it's like a dimorphic the one. It's the ones rather than the one, which honestly makes more sense than just having a single one. It makes sense that there'd be the one pair.
You were down for that, okay?
I was down. Well, I'll tell you why. Because the only I think the first Matrix is a masterpiece. But the only thing that kind of catches me where I'm like, oh, that was a little corny, is how like True Love's kiss brings Neo back to life. And then he's able to like, stop the bullets and like do super kung fu and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's kind of a weird like fairy tale plot point they put in this otherwise perfect 10 out of 10 movie. And it's still 10 out of 10, but that's like the only weak point to me in the first Matrix movie. Is like, why? Like, what is this? And like, you know, their love interest, or their whole love story. It wasn't the most convincing thing in the world, other than they just think each other are attracted or whatever. But with it being the idea of Neo isn't the only anomaly that's keeping the Matrix together, because that's the whole point of the one, is it's an anomaly that keeps the system going. It's a bug that has to stay in there for it to work properly. For it to be two people, that at least has like an analogy to like a circuit board, where it's like you need the 2 points connecting in order for it to work. But you know, I guess it can blow the fuse if they get too close together, and if they're too far away, then the power's too weak. And obviously, just, you know, men and women exist. It's a dimorphic thing within species and stuff. So it's like, you know, it has that kind of feminist element to it, where it's like women are also powerful kind of thing. It shouldn't just be where guys are the ultimate creatures of the world and women are just the secondary.
And it definitely felt, you could feel the feminist aspect a lot more with this movie than the others. You know, by making her the one who can fly.
That's why. Well,
I'll say about Trinity though, Joe, and obviously you're a much bigger Matrix fan, and you know the lore and stuff. But I always felt like Trinity was always destined to die, because
she had definitely almost died many times, and then she finally
in the second one she dies, but he puts his hand inside and pulls the bullet out.
But the whole time he's having the dream where she's dying, even after he saves her. He keeps
and then in the third one, doesn't she
fucking gets impaled.
She gets impaled.
And has a slow final goodbye. She's a really slow, like 10-minute scene that's so exhausting, where she's like, it's okay. And she's like whispering for like 5 minutes to him, and then finally like dies. And she's like, oh! In his blind state
and he's
of rage.
Like blind, And I feel like that was always their dynamic, that he was always meant to be the Jesus and she was always meant to die, and they could never be together, however much they tried.
The star-crossed lovers.
They could never.
It would never.
So when this one came about, I'm like, oh, they're going to do it again. You know, he's going to realize he's the one, and he's going to finally realize she's the one he was in love with, but then something's going to kill her again. They cannot be together again.
It was boring. That was the main thing.
Yeah. Well, hey, I think it was more entertaining than the third movie. You gotta watch the third movie.
It lacked story. It lacked story to me. It's like,
well, the third movie, there's like a half-hour fight scene with characters we don't even know or care about. It's literally just like visual garbage.
The kid.
You got the kid. I'm like, die. I want the kid to die. I'm like, he's so annoying. I hate him. Oh no. Have I frozen? The Matrix is trying to stop us from talking.
The internet router just takes a minute then to like boot back
that makes
up,
sense.
so that's fine.
Okay, and we're back.
Anyway,
sorry about that.
We're back.
Technical difficulties. I started recording. Hi, hello. Wanted to get back onto the Matrix.
The Matrix is trying to stop us from having this conversation.
Number 3.
The Matrix is like, fuck you guys.
You're so right. You're so right.
Yeah.
Number 3, you said, was pointless action. Fair enough. But what was this?
Number 3. Okay, I'll tell you.
What was this?
So I was saying I'm just stating on other people's reviews, and I confirm in my own brain that yes, that totally seems to be what's going on. So the first movie, not so much the second and third, but the first movie has a very subtle trans message. He's Thomas Anderson, but his true identity is Neo. So it's not so much, going from one gender to the other, but it's the idea of your true identity being suppressed and the idea of being free to be who you want to be, kind of a thing, right?
Okay.
So second and third movie, that isn't really there. It becomes very literal. There's not really any hidden message behind 2 and 3. It's just action-packed. It's very literal. It's just like the war on Zion and everything. And then in this movie,
that was the key word that you mentioned there.
Very with the second movie. The second movie. Third movie has action in it, but like just shooting robots, like it's not entertaining
as compared to this movie that had.
So in this movie, I will say the bubble force field is exhausting, and they clearly just did it because Keanu Reeves was too busy memorizing choreography for John Wick 4, so they must not have been able to actually get good choreography with him.
False push
they were just rushing, They were like, we don't have enough time to actually do good.
Part I wanted to mention as well is like I constantly kept comparing it to Mission Impossible movies. I don't know why they're not really in the same realm, but to me,
because it's like a heist at the end. They're like, you got to plug in this person to get Trinity out and secretly have the conversation, and we'll hack in.
It seemed like it was like Keanu Reeves was a low budget version of Tom Cruise.
And damn, you're doing him dirty. Keanu Reeves is known for like the greatest thing he ever did is just doing his own stunts. That's like his thing. Movie? No, in general.
Oh, I thought you meant in this movie, because this movie I didn't see
him as a person.
I just thought he looked so like beaten down. I thought he looked so tired. I thought the fighting was like so
well, I will
whatever
say.
fighting there was fighting, it was really slow, choreographed, boring. It was just a bunch of
and
rocks.
It was edited really bad.
This is so cheap. Like I one scene from Mission Impossible with the Superman, that one scene in the bathroom, that takes the whole movie for me.
That was great.
Right. That was like from the beginning, I'm remembering Mission Impossible be somewhat of an action movie. This was like a slow, like soapy dream that I was like,
And I will say, this is like, there's no judgment. It was just one of those like, wow, like seeing someone take the glasses off and you've never seen that before. Keanu Reeves has had a beard and long hair for so long. To see him shaved, it's like, oh, that dude is not immortal, like so many people claimed. He looks old. He's got a turkey neck. He's got a lot of old person features.
I remember.
Damn, Keanu's old.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's too old for this. Like, why are they doing this? He's too old.
No, he's a beautiful human being. But clearly, he's clearly rocking that with this.
Because he does John Wick. Like, he does all the action that. But I feel when they announced and they leaked a bunch of like set photos last year of like,
jumping off that building.
They're filming the Matrix downtown, wherever, Chicago, wherever. And it was him riding on the back of Trinity's bike, and he had the long hair and the beard. Yeah. And my immediate thought was, like Keanu doesn't want to shave the beard.
He's being a celebrity about this. Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe like you said, he's got commitments to John Wick, right? So he needs to keep the beard.
Yeah.
And the long. But part of me is, it looks like he had short hair.
But is he doing John Wick, or is he doing The Matrix? Like, this is what I'm confused about. It's like we're mentioning John Wick, but it's like commit to one.
Was basically happening at the same time.
Commit to one. Commit to one.
Commit to one. Anyway, that's
commit to one.
Yeah.
I liked the surprise of him in the real world having no beard and shaved head. I was like, oh, cool, because I wasn't expecting that, and I was thinking the whole time he doesn't want to shave his beard. And he didn't. So that was cool. But here's the thing, Joe, and this infuriated us when we were watching the movie.
Oh, no.
I think, did Lana write this movie on her own, or did she have a co-writer? I don't know.
She had one or two co-writers, yeah.
Okay.
Two, I think.
Why did they make the decision to set this movie 60 years in the future instead of just 22 years?
Because that was their only attempt at a mindfuck. They were like, you can't do the Matrix again, like that reveal of you're in the Matrix. That was an amazing mindfuck. But now everybody knows what the Matrix is. So how do you mindfuck the audience again while still
mindfuck the audience again? Is Jada Pinkett Smith in this old
even though he's aged 20 years, say it's really been 60 years and they've just been keeping you fresh, baby fresh.
Oh, but Joe, why was Jada Pinkett Smith? Dude, I'm an old woman.
They should have just.
I'm an old
father who art in heaven. Like,
come
on.
And then just using that as the bullshit excuse to why Lawrence Fishburne's not in it. Oh, it's been 60 years. Everyone else is dead.
No.
You remember?
There is an actual reason, and so it sucks, but I commend them for this.
No.
There's an actual reason that's pretty legitimate. So, Star Wars, when they were bought by Disney, just retconned all of the novels because there's like 100 novels. So they're like, fuck continuity. This is exhausting. We're retconning all that. All that matters are the movies. Matrix 4, its storyline is coming after video games and stuff, after the 3 movies.
Yeah.
So there's more story that was told when they thought that the movies were done. Because they did not want to make any more movies.
Joe, I just feel so bad. You just got ambushed.
The stories continued. Stories
I feel so bad. You just got ambushed.
Lawrence Fishburne getting just shot in an alleyway.
So
it's like
now CTV News. Joe, tell us why Morpheus wasn't in the movie. Just like ambushing you outside your house.
The movie was all over the place.
So here's the meta part of it.
From the set of the Matrix.
He dies in a video game after the trilogy. They could easily just say, "Who gives a fuck? Just bring him back." Have it just be 20 years pass. It's fine. But they were like, we're fucking committed to the bit. Every single piece of media that has come out about the Matrix is canon, and we're not retconning anything.
But here's the thing.
So we killed Morpheus in that video game, so it's canon.
It's the Matrix. They don't need canon because when the Oracle died, they just recast her, and they were like, "Well, the Matrix moves in mysterious ways." The programming
they made it part
her.
of the canon. Yeah.
Like, yeah, why don't they just be like, yeah, well, Morpheus did die, but also the programming.
We pulled him out just in time.
He actually
got shot.
Or show us Morpheus in action dying or something like.
No, don't
didn't
show
have
Morpheus
60 years.
unless it's the
It could have been 20 years. It could have just been 20 years, and he could have just been on a mission, and he gets killed, and we see it happen.
Don't show him unless it's the original.
I don't know about you, Joe, but I feel like new Morpheus, the guy from Aquaman, he's a side character. Because 100% gets all the
character. He's not
important to the
plot.
Bugs gets all the.
I mean, I guess he does play a certain role with his little beads, with his ability to fly around.
Because he's like CGI half the movie.
Yeah.
You know,
so that's something. And, okay. Listen, let me now tell you what I still have yet to say, which is what the allegory for the film is.
We can say.
It's a movie. Okay. I still thought it was entertaining. I'm in the minority, I know. Okay, let me tell you. The allegory for the film is, and this is like a thing that is real, which makes it significant, people who come out and then get put back in the closet. They regress. There are people who... Have I frozen? Can you guys hear me?
You kind of
you're back.
Okay.
You're back in the
closet. You've been pulled back.
Like, come out as trans, have begun taking like the pills for it, the hormone therapy, and then regress, whether it's due to family or their community or shit like that. It's really fucked up, but it's real. That's a thing that happens. And there have been like studies like across the board with thousands and thousands of people, and not 100, but let's say it's like 99% of the time they are happy when they transition and not when they regress. So this whole false narrative by Christians of like, oh, it was just a phase and they're not really trans, or they were just confused. It's like, no, if you have gender dysmorphia, which is the scientific psychological term for people who believe that they belong like in a different body, that's 100% real, and it's not no one's ever confused by it. The only time where it's ever actually wrong is when it's parents like pushing that idea on their kids. And there was like some weird phase when that happened, like in the early 2010s, and it's really fucked up, and that's definitely parental abuse. But when the people themselves, and it usually almost always happens like going into puberty, when they know that they, like on the inside are a different gender, they know. And it's like, and this movie, if the first movie is about becoming your true self, this fourth movie, which is now the second movie in the entire the Matrix movies that also has an allegory, the idea is being basically put back and regressed only to finally come out. And the whole idea of it doesn't matter how old you are. You can be 50, 60 years old. It's like there's no such thing as too late to, be your true self. So like it sucks whenever people are like, put back into like a closet or regressed or whatever, but to have that ability to come back out and be like, no, I know who I am, even though I'm being repressed by all of the pressures of the people around me or my community or whatever. It's like you can still, there's always hope. You can always get out no matter how old you are. So that analogy I love. However,
did that come out in this movie though?
That's the point of this movie, is that
I didn't get that at all.
Got put back into the Matrix and was forced to take the blue pills, which is almost like hormone pills. He was literally forced to take the male pill again. I don't know if it's that.
It's a lot. Okay, and I think, to be honest, no offense, I feel like, I think for me, like with these type of movies where it's like it's been so long, it's like I think the tone of the movie is wrong. So it's like I'm expecting some type of sort of movie, and I think I didn't get that from the fourth one, but I still got it from the third one.
Yeah.
Where was the green tint, Joe? Where was the green tint?
I know. Well, no, it's also canon. The end of the third movie, Sanji paints the skies. So instead of it having a green tinge, it's that rainbow sunset color that's like glowy and yellow. So that's why this iteration of the Matrix is glowy and yellow. I hate it. I wish it was green.
That's some bullshit.
No offense
I
to
know.
also,
I want them to remake the Matrix, so if there's a Matrix 5 movie, it's green tint again. Because now Neo and Trinity are working together to usurp the Matrix maker. And so they turn the sky green again.
Okay, also, I think when there's reboots, like casting is a really big thing, and I think they flawed on the casting because Keanu Reeves didn't carry the movie. Like, he didn't carry it, for me personally. He didn't carry the movie. Neither did Jada Pinkett Smith. Neither did the other chick. Nobody carried the movie. So I'm assuming that this kind of like new Asian girl is supposed to kind of carry it. She didn't carry it. Morpheus didn't carry it. Then nobody carried the movie. So the movie just went to me. That's my personal opinion. It just seemed like nobody was fully committed in the movie. And you guys are saying was doing John Wick. So it's not, that comes out. That came out for me.
As far as having a main character goes,
it didn't have a main character.
They started with that opening sequence, which I thought was really good, with the whole idea. Well, I liked it when it was a program, them rehashing like the first movie and stuff, even though it's like nostalgia bait. It's like that was a program that was designed to teach agents how to kill people like Neo and Trinity and stuff. So it's like that makes sense in the universe. As soon as they were making it a video game, I didn't like that because it was like, it's separated in its own way. But they kind of solidified like this is the new main character, this younger woman, and Morpheus, this half Morpheus, half agent character. It's like they solidified those two basically as the characters we're going to follow. But then Neo became the main character again, and that's where they lost.
But then I guess Neo didn't really get any sort of growth because I think subconsciously the writers forgot that we all know who Neo is, and we've already had a Neo arc. So they just probably thought, oh, we could just put Neo in it, and he'll just be the main character because everyone knows who Neo is.
Yeah.
Right, so it was just like, but we knew,
They rehashed his arc, which is to learn about the truth and get out. But then that happens early, so now the rest of the movie is just chilling. Yeah, so it is flawed. It is very flawed. Yeah. I will not.
It's flawed. Like at the same time, like you make a good point, Joe, where it's like it still lacks. Like if you're looking at the movie in a different way, like in the pill form, like when you were explaining with the trans and stuff like this, and I think that this movie, I think, is a little more in depth towards that as opposed to 3. Yeah, 3 is just kind of like action. Let's throw let's just throw which is like for me, I'd rather just see a whole bunch of action than a lot of slower cut scenes of characters that I really just kind of don't care about anymore. That's why I think for me it was a little bit of a slower burn.
Yeah, I mean, so the third one, what was the third one?
Revolutions.
Wow.
Revolutions.
A lot of crazy.
Like you said, Joe, it's just that typical final film in a trilogy. Pirates of the Caribbean did it. Star Wars does it. Lord of the Rings.
I think Pirates of the Caribbean did kind of a good job. I don't know if that's a hot take.
They did a very good job.
Like the third one, and then they just kept
4 hours long.
Right.
But for a trilogy, it's like they're all kind of the same. Where it's like we have to have a big climactic battle, and we have to snip all the arcs and make sure they all get to the point. And so then when you make this fourth movie, it's Hollywood's done it so many. They did it with Pirates of the Caribbean. It flopped. Jurassic World didn't, but Jurassic World has the same flaws this one has, where it's like nostalgia bait. It's like we're taking you back to the Matrix, we're taking you back to Jurassic Park, but none of the characters are there from the first one. It's new people, and you might not like these new people. And we've also changed the lore a little bit to make it new for a new audience. And Hollywood is the Hollywood machine, and it's just
So okay, let me do one final act of things I enjoyed. Right? Because all I've said so far is just entertaining, right? So you guys are thinking I'm just delusional or something. So let me list some things. So, bullet time being used against Neo. I like that. Neil Patrick Harris is like, now I got the power. Biatch! Because the whole thing of the one is that he's able to slow down time. Normally, agents could do that, but only with like 2 feet on the ground. They can't like speed run at you and punch you in the face, but they can dodge bullets when they're just like locked in a position. So it's like, that was just Neo's thing, is that he could fly so fast that cars were like collecting behind him, like that Japanese game where you like make a big ball. But now Neil Patrick Harris is like, I got that ability now, bitch. It's like, because I did surgery on your brain and shit and brought you back. So like, I now have this ability too. Agent Smith, unfortunately, had no redeeming factors. Neither did the Merovingian. Why did he cameo? He should have done something. That was the worst part of the movie, in my opinion, was Meredith.
And why were they like feral creatures?
I know, because they're like hiding, because they're programs that are like built for deletion, like they're being hunted by the current program.
Yeah.
But it's like they're programs. Why would they look grungy? That doesn't make sense. He would still look fancy. Yeah. He would be in hiding, but look like his suave self.
Yeah, he could have had an underground club that they had to go to get information from him or something.
Yeah.
And then that could have become an action sequence because the agents find them in the club and like chase them out of the club. And
positives. Back to positives.
Okay, going back to Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris using bullet time. That's fun.
He, no offense, I think he was badly casted too.
Well, he does have a lovely face. He's not intimidating. They should have got like.
Why is he in the movie?
Willem Dafoe's got a scary face.
Like,
what's the maker of?
I don't know. I just feel like he's just shouldn't be.
It was. Yeah, I think. I think they cast him to throw us off, right? Because it was meant to be a twist. It was meant to. He's just
to be the
psychiatrist. So you're just like, oh yeah, that's why he's in it. And then the big twist is, no, he's not. He's the main bad guy. And then it becomes like, oh.
It's like having Cara Delevingne as the person, and it's just why? Just
why?
That's how
Yeah.
It's like certain people just don't need to be doing certain things.
I just thought of a perfect dream cast. Instead of the guy who was Agent Smith for this, they should have cast Zod from the
brilliant
Superman. That actor has a scary
Michael Shannon.
face.
Terrifying.
Yeah, he would have been great as the new agent. They couldn't get Hugo Weaving because of scheduling problems. Cast that guy. That would have been awesome. Because that's so intimidating. And he's also closer to.
Go back. Get in your time machine.
Yeah, I got to go back. I got to talk to Lana. I'll be like, listen, you don't know what you're doing. Let me take over. That'd be so rude. But it's like, okay, it's her dream. Fine. But like, come on. This casting choice was not well done.
You could just go back in time, leave one post-it note. It just says Michael Shannon. And that's all it says, and you just leave it on her desk, and then you go again.
They don't know why, but as soon as Hugo Weaving says, I'm so sorry, I can't come in, I'd love to be Smith again, but my scheduling doesn't allow it, they look at the sticky note and go, oh my god, this guy, his face is intimidating. Let's use him.
Yeah.
He's a scary man.
He's played bad guys.
And also, he's closer to Keanu's age, because when they're talking to each other, they're saying how, like, when they started this company back in the day, they had agreement issues and stuff. When they're like sitting together having their meeting, I'm like, that guy would have been 12 years old 20 years ago. Like, you're having conversations with him, your fellow peer, your colleague. It's like, no.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And the real Neo, well, the real Thomas Anderson, is even older than Keanu. Because in the reflections, he's like even older, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it makes even less sense.
So it's like, he would have been even, the age gap.
Why wasn't the mirror person just like, just someone not old? I don't know. But anyway, okay, back to positive. So, Bullet Time, that was nice, okay? Second one was Morpheus figuring out that he's a program. Because while you might say, well, they're just rehashing what they did with Neo in the first movie, it's different because he's a program. So that even though it's similar, it's still something we literally haven't seen since the first movie. And I think that was a great... And I love the soundtrack of that, like the dun 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 dun. I don't know. The music was on point. I really enjoyed whatever that racing soundtrack was. It was really enjoyed that. Yeah, the music was on point. So I really like that. A lot
better in the theater.
The discovery scene. I enjoy discovery. It's like the first Matrix was about discovery and action. So and then the other ones weren't so much about discovery, except like, why do I dream Trinity's gonna die, and then the third one, there wasn't much of a mystery. Just I'm gonna stop it by, I don't know, I guess going to the Machine City. So it's like not much of a mystery. So this one, they hinted at it with that scene, and unfortunately didn't really play out as well as it should have. He just became a side character. But if they had made him more prominent, then that would have been a huge positive to it. So at the very least, that scene, that discovery scene of him like realizing was great. The train scene was awesome. The fact that they...
What train scene? I don't remember the train scene.
When they're in Japan.
There was a fight inside the train.
Yeah. It's just very beautiful visuals, and then also that whole perspective of like, just think about it. I forget the term for it. I think it's called Euclidean or something. A Euclidean design, which is when space-time isn't actually modeled based on basic 3 dimensions. It's warped. Right. So it's kind of like in the Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, when you walk down that tunnel, gravity like moves with you. So when you get over there, you're like on the ceiling, kind of a thing. They played, and that was still, again, that's just a tiny scene that's not really ever used again. But they talk about that when they're trying to enter a mirror. they're like, what's the mirror? And he's like, I could only find you one. Like, you're going to have to use it. And they hit it, and they go in the bathroom, and it's tiny. And they're like, what the hell? And he's just like, remember, this is the Matrix. This isn't real. Just think it's bigger, and the closer you get to it, the larger it'll get. And then that ends up happening. I was like, oh, that's so trippy. That's awesome. Because it's the Matrix is just a simulation. You would be able to warp physics in that way, where it's like, you just have to look at it, and then as you're getting closer to it, it will enlarge and kind of a thing.
This is the only part of the movie, that whole scene is the only part of the movie that had the Matrix feel.
The mind twist.
Other than that, the movie was boring.
Well, like, no other movie has tried to do anything like that before, like warping.
That was the tone of the movie that the movie was missing. The whole movie, though.
It should have been more.
You can't just have it in one clip. Like, you gotta have the whole movie that way. Yeah. If you're just gonna give me that one clip and then that's it.
I have one final thing, and that is when they started fucking human dive bombing. Sure, that's just a gimmick, so you can't do anything in 5 seconds of that.
No.
Well, listen, I don't necessarily like the swarm idea. I feel like it should just be agents, but it should have been like a one-off. Where it's just like, I have this one-off thing, and it's the dive bomb. It shouldn't have been just a crowd of people chasing them, because that was kind of not as good.
I called that the World
Agents
War
would have been a
Z
lot better than
sequence.
just swarm mode. But if it was just used one time by Neil Patrick Harris, instead of it being used multiple times where their eyes turn green, it's like, no, agents were better than this. Don't do this as the main thing.
That's not the tone of Matrix.
Should have been the main thing, but the dive bombing was fucking epic. It was like something out of Fast and Furious, where like they start to
that's
the cars and they're like,
no, it made me immediate. I think I said it out loud at the time, Joe. I was like, this is World War Z now. We're watching a zombie movie.
Like, this is just crazy. Yeah, you did say
no,
that.
but okay. Yeah, I didn't like it where they were just kind of zombie running at people. I didn't like that part. But the dive bomb, there's a type of bomb where it's not a bomb, but it's in space, and I think it was in like one of the Call of Duty games, like not one of the good ones, but this concept is a real thing, and I don't think it was used yet, but it's this military thing where you take just a big metal rod and you just go up high enough and just drop it, and gravity turns it into a bomb. And I think it's called a ballistic bomb, where it's literally, because it's so high up and so heavy, when it hits the earth, the shock wave kills anybody like in a kilometer radius. Like, it's this, maybe not that big, but that's the vibe I got from the people dive bombing. It's like I wasn't into the whole them being zombies, but I love the idea of turning people into ballistic bombs, like just launching them to where they fucking like destroy the car. Like that one guy was like, holy shit. And also it would have been more intense if they had made it a thing where it's like, these people are real people that are now dying. Like their avatars are being taken over, but they have now died. It's like, that would have been more fucked up if they were able to play on that a bit, where like maybe Neil Patrick Harris, Neo, saying like, these are innocent human lives that are about to end now because of this. If anything, I feel like the Matrix has never really done a good job at expressing the actual seriousness of that. Like the fact that agents take over real human beings and their bodies
in a pod
and when they shoot each other and then die, that was an actual person who was in a pod, just died. Like a human life just actually was lost. I feel like, and they didn't know. They were literally taken over. They were possessed.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they turned that into more of a horror element, that would have been nice. So I liked the idea. It maybe wasn't executed perfectly, but that idea was amazing. And I was like, oh shit, just like dive bombing humans. I'm like, let's go. But anyway, yeah, so that's it. Discovery, mirror, dive bombs, bullet time. You know, that doesn't even cover a whole hand, but that's still more than one thing that I really enjoyed. That I think it's a positive new thing that this movie brought to the table.
Yeah, I guess it was cool that they had that member of the team that was like projecting himself with them. He had all like the tech on.
Yeah. Because that wasn't even necessarily new. That was just a new for the movie. Where like they weren't even saying mechanic, but that's a new thing they're doing. It was just a way to visualize what the programmers are doing when you're like talking to them. Where he's like, he's there because he can see it, but it's just like this visual way of showing that he can see what's happening.
Yeah, because in the past it was just
operator and just him going like
the
this.
other guy
looking at this.
Yeah.
And then this is just like they kind of place him there.
He's there, but he's not there. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I like that. So I think they could have done better, absolutely, but I still think it was entertaining, and I feel like if they take more time next time, they could, you know, not that I'm saying they'll turn this into a trilogy, but if they want to make a second movie, I feel like they should work harder and do better. And if
I think you're right, because it felt rushed and it felt cheap.
Yeah, that's what I definitely got from it, and I felt like Keanu Reeves should be to blame, because it's like, if you're gonna be Like, if you're going to be all about this, then why are you not committing 100% to it? Like,
Hey,
when Tom Cruise isn't jumping from
game,
one and then going to another movie. He's doing one movie, and he's doing it 100 commitment. Boom, done.
But it's Warner Brothers were threatening to make, and I think they were beginning production on 2 different Matrix movies. And then that's when Lana came in and said, "No, stop! This is my baby, goddamn you!" So she was her hand was forced to make this movie because Warner Brothers was threatening to just do it without her. So that rushed to the table. Keanu, it's the same thing where he was in the middle of doing this series. He wasn't necessarily expecting a revitalization of the Matrix movies, but he was probably told that this will fuck with your scheduling a bit. We will have to make sacrifices and mix and match what date we have you. But
it wasn't the right time.
It would be very important for you to be in this movie. And so he said yes, because he loves The Matrix. I mean, it's what made him actually famous. The other movies he did, like Point Blank, were great movies, but he could easily have just faded into obscurity.
Yeah,
that's why they should really committed.
Yeah,
they should really have committed and taken the time to get a good tone for the
too many
movie.
air bubbles.
The movie was just so even near the end, I'm just like the CGI is even janky.
Yeah.
Like, did they even have enough time?
I feel like it would be nice if they make a second one to not have him be the main character. If him and Trinity are now off screen and they're busy trying to take over the Matrix and take it away from the hands of Neil Patrick Harris. I mean, let's say Neil Patrick Harris is just instantly gone. So it's just the two of them. They're these big players. They're like the Emperor and Dune. We don't even see them. They're just off doing something else. And the main character is now Morpheus and this lead. And we focus on these characters and find a way to add this mystery element to it where the whole movie is trying to, and then I don't know what the bigger part of it would be, but maybe try to stop, who knows, whatever, Agent Smith.
Okay, whatever is.
It doesn't, they could find a good way to make the element portion of it, but hone in the story. Focus on younger people who can do scenes,
and focus
who can do
on
more fighting.
Like
people that
can carry the storyline
to just spend 6 months training and just come out with amazing fight sequences.
Yeah.
Yes,
have the story be mostly about mystery and not so much about war.
Yeah. And that should have been what this one was. It should have been like they should have held off the Neo reveal until the second act or maybe even the third act. It should have been the story of these new people, trying to find Neo and spending really building up to the point where we finally reveal the main guy, the one we've all been looking forward to.
Yeah, and now
instead of just
it's for both of them.
You watch it for 10 minutes and already he's in it.
And he's dragging along. He hates being in it.
Yeah.
He did seem like he was just kind of casually.
I'm just here.
Yeah,
I'm just here, deadbeat. It's like this is. It's like, okay, honestly, it's like a lot with reboots. It happens. It's like,
okay, I came up with one final thing. Another good point is when he's in the elevator with that pitch blonde hair dude and he just shakes his hand. I was like, oh, that's great, legend, king shit right there. Because he's just just this dude kind of standing there, just this old man, and the guy's like, hey, sorry, I'm taking you to the brink, the brig, man. He's like, listen, I've never met a legend before. Sorry if I'm staring. And he's just like, he offers his hand. I'm like, so humble brag, And then he just kind of shakes his hand. He's like, nice to meet you. Yeah, it's I don't know how to explain it, but it's very stoic, It's like it's very oh my god, that's great. Like that seems like such a Neo thing,
Okay.
Yeah, okay. His character isn't the best character after the first movie, but the whole thing is that he develops a type of stoicism by being able to see the code while in the Matrix. That was the idea, at least, and it did not carry through too much with this movie, but I feel like there was that glimmer of it in that elevator scene. Yeah, but it's look, tried. He's just this dude. He's just, hey, shake my hand. I'm like, look at this guy.
Yeah.
I swear, when I went into the movie, because I didn't really hear any I saw one a Twitter post or something, or on YouTube, someone was like, I hate this movie. It was the worst thing I ever saw. That was the one.
A lot of people hated the movie when they first saw it. It was pure emotional hate.
Yeah.
Because you guys are saying you're disappointed, and it was boring and stuff like that. There were people online that are like, I hate this movie. I want to kill this movie. It's like, holy shit, bro.
Okay, that's a little rough, but I mean, it wasn't 2 hours, and I feel like per 2 hours and maybe a half, somebody could have lost some limbs.
Sure.
Because I just feel like it was that bad for me. It wasn't that bad, but it was bad.
Yeah. It's a problem now with Hollywood, and when you have a franchise that people become attached to and very beloved of, and it becomes very special to you and nostalgic, and then 20 years later they make a new one, and it's not as good. You feel betrayed a little bit. You feel like, oh no, it's ruined my franchise. You know, it's like the way I feel about the Hobbit films to the Lord of the Rings. I feel the way people feel about The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker to the previous Star Wars movies. You know, they feel like it ruins the, you know, when you have a home run and then all of a sudden there's some shit ones, you feel like, oh, that's the whole franchise has been tarred now.
Yeah.
But, you know, like with Pirates of the Caribbean, I think the original trilogy is fantastic.
Yeah.
I just don't watch those other two. I just pretend
you can just ignore it.
Don't, you know, because they are terrible. They're really terrible films.
So I had to cut any of them out. I'd cut the fourth one out. Sadly, I'd cut the fourth one out. If I had to cut out of all the four of them, it would be like 3 or 4. I would cut 4 out.
Right.
Interesting.
I would say this: the first one is the only one that makes me fall in love with it. I'm not in love with the second one or the third one. So this movie doesn't disappoint me maybe as much as other people, because the only one that I'm extremely emotionally strongly connected to is just the first Matrix movie.
Yeah,
that one is perfect. Like, it is masterpiece cinema. It is like everything about it. Oh, love it. It's the same as the Lord of the Rings, except it's 3 instead of 1 movie. It's 3 movies that are all like masterpieces. You know, so it's like, there's more Lord of the Rings than there is Matrix masterpieces, but yeah. And then with Star Wars, I didn't watch Star Wars growing up, so I don't have the same kind of connection other people have. So I grew up with the prequels, so it's like I grew up with schlock. So I was like, I don't care. Like,
I grew up with the stupid entertainment that just came out.
Yeah. And then I guess the new trilogy now people hate, but like,
the fans treat the new trilogy like they are treating this Matrix, where it's like, you've ruined it. You know, this is awful. We need to forget they exist. Yeah.
So wait, I would actually add one other thing, not to the 4th movie, but to the series of Matrixes. The Animatrix, even though it's a collection of shorts, it's still considered one movie. I think that one also, it's like the closest to like another masterpiece one, and it did technically come out before the second movie, so it is the follow-up to the first movie, and it tackles elements of the Matrix that have never since been touched. And for a good reason. A lot of it's really just conceptual, and it's hard. It's like how would you put this element into a full-fledged full movie story, right? Like the one with like the haunted house, where they're just running around and can like levitate and break a bottle and it reverts back like another hand, because it's just a glitch like in the Matrix.
The only ones I remember is the one where it was like it was 2 people fighting.
Oh yeah, cutting their clothes off. Hell yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but I remember it at the time because everybody was saying that the CGI is incredible. It's like photorealistic CGI, and that was a big deal.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I remember just watching it and being like, "Whoa, I shouldn't be watching this because people are getting naked." But then you watch the second Matrix, and there's an orgy in the second Matrix.
A literal
so
orgy
then it's
with
yeah. This is Ten Me's introduction to sex, I guess.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then I remember the one about the sprinter, and he like his heart explodes or something.
Well, no, he just pushes himself so hard that he breaks out of the Matrix through sheer will of his brain power.
Oh, I thought
because the whole idea is that the Matrix
his body explodes.
No. It's just
okay.
No. I think it's like one of his legs was like gonna pop. Like
the
muscles.
That was it. The muscles on his legs pop.
Yeah. It's like,
yes. I knew something like exploded. Yeah.
His muscles pop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So connections. Yeah.
It's very. It's cringy, but in a good way. It's the good kind of cringy. You're like, no, like it's we're like, oh, like if that happened to you, that would hurt so bad. Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Animatrix is.
Damn.
They should do that more often. Like an album.
I know. Well, here's the thing.
Like little spin-off stuff.
They did it with Batman and with Halo. And they've just now done it with Star Wars, but I didn't watch it because I don't care about the Star Wars universe, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I might watch it.
I watched 2 of them. I watched the first 2.
Okay.
And they're not bad. They're not bad. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But
what was
Star Wars
the
is already fleshed out so much with their novels and stuff, so it maybe isn't as much of a novelty as it is with these other universes that haven't had like their stories scratched. So yeah, the Animatrix was the first to do it. Then following that was Batman Arkham Knight or something, or just Batman
Begins.
No. It's a collection of short stories done in different animation styles, just like the Animatrix. I've not seen that. It's real. I own it on DVD. I owned the Animatrix on DVD. I owned this Batman. I think it's called Arkham Knight. Series of short films on DVD, and I own Halo Legends, which is the exact same thing. It's a collection of short stories, with different animation styles, and so I own all three of those things, and I love them. They're so good because they're kind of like an album of music. If 8 out of 10 are great, then that's amazing. Even if half of them are good, it's still worth buying the album. It's one of those scenarios where they don't have to all be good. If even one of them is like amazing, then it's like worth it kind of a thing that it was made. Because you're like, okay, we got these mediocre ones and then a great one. With the Animatrix, I think it's like an 8 out of 10 kind of thing with me, where it's like 8 of them are like amazing, perfect stories, and then like 2 of them are maybe weak. And then with Batman, I think that's similar, or maybe closer to like 6 out of 10. Sorry, I messed that.
Which album was that?
It's the one after
which
the
album?
end.
Yeah. That's
the one after
the Beatles, the Black Album.
Look at the end. Yeah.
It wasn't the end for this one.
I think on that, should we wrap this up? Because Joe's got...
Yeah, holy shit. We just did a full episode just talking about the Matrix.
Matrix.
Oh my god, yeah, welcome to 2022. We're here.
And Matrix shut us down, too.
Hey, it's not actually 2022. It's actually been 60 years.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
go get my prosthetics and old makeup.
You walk outside and it's going to be hovercrafts.
28.
Go get my prosthetics and my old voice.
Yeah.
It's 60 years ahead of... It's 60 years.
Yeah. I have old person makeup on.
That's actually the girl from Quantico. But it's a bird robot. Oh, and it's on mice.
We made it.
We showed up.
Nick Jonas. It's like actually, it's Joe Jonas.
Yeah,
Nick
Joe Jonas.
Joe Jonas. It's not Kevin.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my god.
He turned out to be like the Merovingian. He also changed his... Anyway, we're done. We're out of here. What the hell?
Wrap this up.
There is so much. There is actually tons that have happened in the world. Like that person from 90 Day Fiancé selling her farts and then having to go to the hospital. A lot of things have happened.
Didn't she make a lot of money for that, though?
But that's for next week. So get ready, world. If anything, we should do a speed round of stupid, trendy shit that's happened.
Yeah, just
for next episode.
Next
episode, this episode just
21,
back in
22.
Yeah, 22 is the Matrix, and then others. Yeah, but
all right, guys, take it easy. Unplug, plug in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We love you, and good night.
Welcome back.
Bye bye.
Plug in, unplug. Do what you need to do.
That's right. All right, time to unplug, everybody. Let's go.
Bye. Wow, he's dead.